Well, we are real excited, I am, to have a really neat guy in the kitchen. What a story, and he's just continuing to inspire others. This is Ryan Sawlsville. He is an Appleton guy, and you've probably seen him or for sure heard about him. He was one of the recent candidates on the Extreme Weight Loss Show on another network, but still we rooted for you. And your story is amazing, starting out with something that happened a while back. Yeah, let's talk a little bit.
It'll be 4 years in November. I was in a car accident and ended up losing my arm. And at that point, I thought, I didn't know what was next in my life. I really didn't know what was going to happen. And it took me just kind of trusting and just knowing there was a purpose and a plan for my life. And I had no idea what it would lead to, the process that I'd have to go through. It wasn't easy, but I feel like my life has been totally transformed, and now I'm excited to be able to help other people and bless them like I've been blessed.
Unbelievable how much weight you lost. We have some before and after pictures with the post. I mean, and this, I know it is not easy. I mean, it is hard work. So describe what we're seeing here.
That is some time I spent out in Arizona with Chris. The great thing is
he's the host of the show.
He is, yep, Chris Powell. Both him and his wife are amazing people, and it was really neat because what they do is they literally take you and teach you, and so this is something that can be built in lifelong habits.
It has to be, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's the thing, because so many quick diets or fast things, it's quick and let's do it, let's lose all this weight, but then they put it back on. For me, I wanted the lifelong habits that I'm going to be able to, not only for me, but help other people, teach my kids, my wife someday. And so it's something that I was blessed with, to be able to go out there and learn from Chris. I mean, I got to work out with some pretty amazing people, Donald Driver.
Okay, now that's the coolest story too. You lifelong dream, you wanted to meet Donald.
Yeah.
So you got to meet him, and then he worked out with you. Tell us about that.
One of my biggest goals is...
We're talking Donald Driver, of course.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't miss the smile.
One of my biggest goals over this last year was to learn how to ride a bike. I had never done that before, and it was even before I lost my arm. It was something I always dreamed to dream, but never was able to conquer that feat. So Donald heard my story, knew how important it was, and for me, I wanted to do this bike ride, but I wanted to make it very special. My uncle had passed away this last year, kind of a shock I didn't see coming at all. He was 43, young and in shape, and
wow.
So I wanted to honor him, so I decided to do a 43-mile bike ride.
Wow.
1 year for every year he was born. It was my way of doing a tribute, making him part of the show, where the show probably wouldn't make that part of the story. And so it was amazing just to have that happen, but then to have Donald be there, to have my family, I got to do it with my family by my side. It was truly, I feel like when I crossed that finish line, it was one of my greatest accomplishments in life, and even more so than the weight I lost, because it was something that I truly thought I'd never be able to overcome and achieve.
So did you ride bike quite a bit then this summer? Have you been doing that, or?
Yeah, it's something that I'm excited to keep going and moving forward, and it's not something that I've lost or don't want to do anymore.
Right.
It's something passionate.
It's fun.
Yeah, it is, and I'm excited as this next summer comes out to make that part of my routine and my lifestyle. So
very cool. All right, so we're going to do a little cooking besides talking with Ryan, and this show is about going big, and I love this idea. Breakfast is so big, and I hear it all the time from even members of my own family. I do not have time for breakfast, Mom. I gotta go, running out the door. You know.
And that was my big excuse before I got on the show, is that I didn't have anything going on, but yet I did not have time to get breakfast. And so the goal is to find something quick and easy. This is the key for my life, especially after the show. While I'm running around meetings, I'm working at any time, training people. So it's always key to find something quick and easy. And this is great because these are my version of how much I'm going to go. And literally what we're doing is just taking some eggs.
And the batch makes a big batch. It makes a dozen. We're going to split it in half and do 6, which is fine.
And the cool thing is you can do as many as you want, as little as you want. You can personalize it on different veggies and different cheese, whatever kind of veggies. The great thing with something like this is you can add the veggies in after, so you can personalize it. If one of your kids doesn't like peppers or something, you can throw in what you want in there, and you can do all this up ahead of time. Then
love it.
Then throw it in the oven, and in the morning just throw it back in the oven to warm it up again, and you got breakfast, and it's quick and easy. And
healthy.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the key, is just finding those breakfasts that are easy but healthy as well. How many people you hear, oh, I don't have time for breakfast at home, so I'm going to go to McDonald's or one of those fast food restaurants, or grab some Pop-Tarts.
Right.
Something like this is going to be great, and it's going to get people excited, and the taste is absolutely wonderful.
But you have to think ahead. So, I mean, you have to plan this ahead, but if you make a dozen of these, you can be, throw them in the microwave all week. This is one of your secrets, a little seasoning, a little kick to this, right?
I love Mrs. Dash's. It was a key that I used over this last year. Chris taught me a lot about it, and it's great because there's no salt, but it offers a lot of flavor.
Smells great. This
Yeah.
happens to be a Southwest Chipotle seasoning,
Yep,
so
and
it's
this
really
one, I'm
nice.
excited, this one's kind of my, Mexican kind of Southwest.
Okay, so basically we've got a muffin tin that we've lined with liners, so that we don't have to be, doing the mess. And we put the toppings in, after you get them in, or does it matter?
However you want to do it. I mean, we can make a couple different options here. So
Okay.
you can do it either way. You can do, like you said, a big batch ahead of time, but if you have somebody that doesn't like something, you can toss it in. You know, somebody can't eat cheese. The great thing is like I said, you can personalize it and do what works for each individual.
So cheese is okay, a little bit of cheese is
Yep.
okay.
It's all in moderation. That is one thing that Chris taught me this last year. Obviously, there are some cheeses that are better, like low-fat mozzarella.
Sure.
But, we have to have everything in moderation. So many times, you go through a process and you're like, I'm not going to eat this, I'm not going to eat that. But then all of a sudden you have a breakdown.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
I have to eat it.
Yeah.
And then you go and have a bunch of it.
Totally
and go
agree.
crazy.
Totally agree.
It's all in moderation is the key.
So some of the veggies that you brought around, one thing that jumped out at me right away that I would not have thought of putting into eggs is this coleslaw mix, like a broccoli slaw mix.
Absolutely. And it's great because it's got so much color and it's also got a lot of different flavor to it
Crunch,
as well.
so it's got broccoli and some cabbage and carrots. Peppers are so good for you, and I happen to love those, so we'll do some peppers in mine for sure.
And the great thing is you get color. Part of liking food and having it taste good is it's got to be pleasing to the eye. And so that final product, it has to be colorful, look great, and more appetizing nowadays. So the more color, the better. I mean, you can't go wrong with fresh, clean veggies.
Yep, I agree. These are very fine. You notice everything's really little pieces because it needs to, we don't want to be a big old chunk of, be able to eat this
and
chopped
it cooks a lot
mushrooms.
easier as well and quicker, so.
Some mushrooms, and I love mushrooms. And broccoli, and I happen to love broccoli too, so we'll do a little broccoli. Cilantro?
Spinach and then cilantro.
Spinach.
Yep.
Spinach is one of those things I try and sneak more and more of it raw into salads, and once you do a handful and then another handful, the next thing you know, the whole salad is spinach, and they don't even know,
And that's great with this, you can throw a little of that in when you're making it in the morning for your kids, and they have no idea, you taste the egg and things like that. So it's a great way to get those veggies in that you wouldn't normally want to get in just eating the salad.
Right, I agree. So now we'll do a little bit of cheese.
Yeah.
So actually, we're going to make you wait a little bit because Ryan has a really cool announcement that he wants to make and tell us all about. So we're going to make you stick around. And I see fudge over there. How can fudge be healthy? Give us a little tease of what we're making next time.
Well, it's one of the big things in a person's diet is getting fats in and trying to find healthy fats, and rather than going and eating fast food. And so it's all about finding good healthy fats, and this fudge is centered around a good healthy fat.
Really, I cannot wait to find out about this recipe because I am all about chocolate. So Ryan's going to stick around. We're going to tell you all about what he's up to lately in his big announcement, and we're going to make a healthy holiday fudge. So can hardly wait. You're not going anywhere, right?
I'm not.
All right, good deal. We'll be back. Stay with us.